Hi everyone, this is Cracking the Pop Culture Code with Logan Berggren
and Olivia Oath, and our special guest, Ethan Dunn.
Great to be here.
On episode 2 of the Oscars, we would like to talk about a little more of the winners and the show itself.
I'm just going to start off with a little bit about the red carpet. I really like Billy Porter's outfit. He always brings it to whatever he goes to. What was the recent award show that he had like the hat with the curtains coming out?
Oh.
I don't even know, the Grammys?
Yeah.
It was some music.
And then also his last year's Met Gala outfit, but
I think that's what really brought him into the scene.
Yeah.
Everyone started watching him after that.
Yeah, he always has a good sense of style. I think he was also part of the opening act with
Janelle Monáe,
which Janelle Monáe killed it. It was kind of awkward at the start, I feel like. Yeah. But as the show went on a little bit with her performance, I think it got a lot better. Which I was kind of surprised because in our last episode we talked about how we thought the movie Us and Midsommar should have been on the nominations, and then half the dancers were dressed up like they were in those movies. So, surprising, I think not. Okay, we can get started to the winners now.
Ethan, did you have something to say?
Oh, I just think the winners were just amazing. I was so happy with the performance of like all the shows, and I thought it was great.
Yeah, same. We talked about how we felt about the nominations, but the winners themselves, I think everybody was really happy with Parasite. I know my mom was not happy about it.
Really?
Yeah, she just thought the movie was weird.
Oh, I jumped up cheering.
I was so happy. And I think the crowd like at the Oscars, it was like the cheers were so loud, and I think more than previous years for sure.
Especially since it's the first foreign film to ever win. It's really special. That's a big moment. And the translator translated from the director's name. You
mean Bong Joon-ho?
Yes, she translated what he said, and he said that he thought he was going to be done winning awards, but then he kept winning. So I feel really happy for him.
Yeah, it's so deserved. I think one thing he said that stuck with me was that like if like a group of people can get over the 1-inch like subtitles on a movie, they'll like open up a whole new world of film. And I think that is just so true and amazing.
And honestly, after watching it, you don't even realize the subtitles are there anymore.
Yeah, you just kind of get used to it.
Yeah, and you're not missing the movie because you have to read. If you're good enough at reading, then you should be doing both at the same time.
Yeah, at first it was like, I think a small like curve, like a learning curve where you have to get used to reading and looking at the picture.
Yeah.
But like after a couple minutes, it just kind of turned into a normal movie experience.
Yeah, that's how most people watch anime. So, and they get really into it.
Yeah.
We all watch anime. But yeah, going back, I think Joaquin for leading role, going through the actors and actresses, he definitely deserved it out of the bunch.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I mean, Leonardo DiCaprio is a really good actor, but I think Joaquin really pulled through with his...
I feel kind of bad because everyone jokes about Leonardo DiCaprio never winning, although he did win one year, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
But he just keeps getting nominated. Like, they're getting his hopes up, and he never wins other than that one time.
I think this time, though, Joaquin he really took it to another level.
Yeah.
His dancing alone, Oscar-worthy.
That one singular scene where he's dancing to his own music. Yeah, he definitely deserved it. That was my guess. I had guessed he was going to win.
Supporting actor, there's not really, I think Anthony Hopkins was really good in The Two Popes, but Brad Pitt, I think, was ultimately going to win this one.
I really wasn't thinking Brad Pitt was going to win.
Really?
I thought he did good, but a part of me also felt like he just played Brad Pitt, so it didn't, like, blow me away.
I just think that he, like, against all the other ones, none of them really stood out.
Yeah. It's Quentin Tarantino, so, like, what are you going to do? Of course they're going to be nominated. And I'm not surprised. I'm surprised that he won just because I didn't think it was that outstanding. But I'm not surprised at the same time because it was Tarantino.
I did like his acceptance speech because at the end of it he mentioned, like, how the stunt crews should get more, like, support. And, which I think is good because that's what the whole movie is about, is him being, like, a stuntman.
Honestly, if they, like, even added a section to the Oscars based on stuntmen, that would be a really interesting thing to see.
I think it would really put a highlight on something not a lot of people know about.
Yeah.
I agree.
This is such an important part of a film, especially if it's like an action film.
Yeah, and speaking of acceptance speeches, a lot of people were uncomfortable with Joaquin's, but I didn't even mind it. Like, a lot of people were like, he needs to stop talking, he's making it so weird, but that is the perfect place. Some people might disagree, but that's the perfect place to start a conversation. And he mentioned a lot of things that people get really upset about, and I think the people getting upset are the ones that are the problem, to be honest.
I love it because he really calls out the people in the room, like, literally.
Yeah.
And I think it's amazing from, like, a TV perspective to see that happen.
Yeah.
And I just think he has a bad reputation because he was kind of crazy. But I think he's kind of calmed down a little bit since he's kind of matured a little bit more. And I just think that a lot of people thought his speech was kind of odd because of his reputation, but I think it was still important to listen.
Yeah, and I think he, I don't even, like, you can tell that he's passionate about acting. He seems humble. Like, he didn't want to be on that stage, and you could tell. Because every time people started clapping, he'd be like, no, please stop. Which is kind of, like, maybe, I don't know if you should do that or not. I don't know if that's proper etiquette. But at the same time, like, you know he likes what he does. Mm-hmm. And it's not just for fame and glory.
So, actress in leading role. Saoirse, if I said it right this time. She did a really good job in Little Women, but I think you have the most knowledge in this category, Olivia.
With Judy.
We talked about it last episode, but I really do believe she won. Like I said, she was just, like, all-encompassing of everything that I would imagine being a celebrity is like. Especially Judy... What's her last name?
Garland.
Judy Garland. Judy Garland. Like, you would never have expected her to be the one that was struggling. And you get to see what it was like kind of when she was younger and in The Wizard of Oz, for example, and how she had to deal with being the golden child. Mm-hmm. Like, she had to follow so many restrictions. She had to follow, like, a diet. She couldn't do anything. And it made me feel really bad for her. But I know it wasn't supposed to be a pity film, but that's kind of just how it made me feel.
Yeah, as much as I love Little Women, I think she sounded like she deserved it most.
Yeah.
Actress in supporting role. Again, we've talked about our love for Florence. But she'll she'll have another shot in the future.
I believe so.
I was shocked by this one. I didn't
feel like she did a bad job in Marriage Story.
No, yeah. I just think that her character, it was kind of one note. It was much like, I'm the mean lawyer I'm like the good mean lawyer.
I mean, she played a very strong, empowered.
Like, you remembered her character.
Yeah.
True.
I think she was a more dynamic character than.
Yeah, but she didn't really have, like, an arc. Like, she didn't have a storyline. She was kind of...
That's why she's supporting. Like, it's...
Yeah.
But also Florence, like, she had an arc and a storyline.
Yeah.
And
I guess she had more of a chance because Little Women, it's when they're growing. But at the same time...
Florence in Little Women, she did a good job of, like, having an arc. But she also was with Emma Watson. She was with Saoirse. She was with... I forgot the other girl's name. And Laura Dern.
And Laura Dern as well. Yeah.
She was with such strong actors all in one movie. And she could have gotten a little bit more screen time. And that might have pushed her to get the award. But I think Laura Dern, I don't know. She was a strong female lead in a movie.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
A very likable guy, I think.
He is.
He's humble. He doesn't really boast too much about winning. He didn't expect to win, I think. But I think he's very creative and also won original screenplay, and that just proves to how creative he is with the movie Parasite and how well it did.
I think one thing about the Oscars and Parasite in particular is that for a foreign film to win against all the other ones, it has to be really, like, good. And I think that's, like, shows how good Parasite was that it was the first foreign film to win, and Bong Joon-ho won Best Director, so I think that just stands for itself.
Yeah, I kind of wonder, like, how Parasite's a Korean film, if that was what they would have chosen to be to get an Oscar, if that makes sense. Like, if the roles were switched and we had one film that would have been in an award show in Korea, like a well-known award show, what movie would that be? Because I feel like it's such an odd category, like genre of movie, that I wouldn't have expected it out of all the films in Korea to be chosen. That's kind of like a weird. I get it. Like, yeah,
it's just it stands out so much.
Yeah. I don't know. I was just thinking
I'm glad it won Best Picture. I think some of the top runnings for Best Picture against Parasite was, of course, 1917, Joker, and I think that's it. I feel like most of the other ones were just like kind of in the category.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think those three were in a different like grouping altogether. Yeah. And I think Joker, when it first came out, there was so much hype around Joker.
Yeah.
And like a lot of people thought that it had a direct line to Best Picture. But I wonder if it's just more of a timing thing, whereas that came out a bit earlier.
Yeah.
And it was kind of overshadowed by the hype of Parasite in 1917.
Yeah. I didn't think Parasite got that much hype until the Oscars.
Exactly, yeah.
I think it got a lot of hype.
Before the Oscars?
I think so.
I don't think so.
I wasn't really paying attention. But for Joker, I mean, I wasn't paying attention to Parasite, but for Joker, I feel like it's really hard. I'm proud of it because with there being so many variations of the Joker, there's always the debate for who is the best.
And that brings up like Little Women again, like which adaptation is the best.
Mm-hmm.
And Joker was up for adaptation, which I honestly wasn't expecting because you don't really think about comic books when it comes to adaptations. Mm-hmm. But that is really a huge category, especially with all of like Marvel and DC.
Which I think that's, again, bringing up from I think last episode, like the bias against like movies like that, like comic book adaptations. I think the first horror movie that won Best Picture was Silence of the Lambs, and that's probably been like one of the only ones. I think the most recent horror one I can think of was Get Out a couple of years ago by Jordan Peele. That was put up for Best Picture, but like I just think they need to be more diverse in the movie selections that they pick outside of like historical movies, because I usually think it's historical movies that win.
And also, one thing that I heard was that for Parasite, at least like 17 of the people in the Academy hadn't even watched it because they were so upset with the subtitles. Like, they just didn't want to read them.
Can they not read? Is that the issue? Like, come on.
That really surprised me. And a lot of people are saying that they should just get kicked out of the Academy. And I kind of agree, so.
Yeah. There's just such a big bias, I think, against actors. And I don't agree with the Academy Awards half the time.
Yeah.
I think this is a good first step, is Parasite winning Best Picture.
Yeah, and I hope it's a good change.
Yeah.
Like, introducing more international films, because I know there's so many more foreign films that could probably be put up for some other categories, like, such as cinematography or some other things like that. It's just, they need to move past the bias of just picking, like, movies made in Hollywood.
Yeah, it shouldn't just be, like, Parasite was an exception, but it shouldn't just be best foreign film. It should just be best film.
I think the international film is kind of just like a cover-up saying that, look, we're including foreign films into the Oscars, but we're not going to actually be taken seriously.
Yeah.
And I'm glad that Parasite is actually being taken seriously for once, and a foreign film, for once.
Yeah.
And I just love Bong Joon-ho. He's so humble and so pure. I love.
Well, this year's category, it was obvious that 1917 was going to win cinematography, because
I didn't think so.
Really?
No. I'm like trying to think on top of my head who was up for it, but I feel like there is definitely better ones that could have been chosen. I didn't think The Irishman deserved that nomination.
I think cinematography, because the way that the continuous shot.
Yeah, but like we said,
really
like,
is going to grab.
It's been done before.
Yeah, but I think since so many people loved it so much, and I know just because we're saying that, not everyone feels that way and knows that there's been multiple movies made that way. So I think that's why I won cinematography, and it clearly outbeat all the other ones.
The Lighthouse was also up for that. Did you guys see The Lighthouse?
I watched it.
That movie was like, I think that one could have taken that Oscar. It was so different, and
it was different, but I still think it didn't have a chance against 1917.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting. Well, that's all the time we have for today.
This has been Cracking the Pop Culture Code with Logan Bergeron
and Olivia Oath,
with our special guest Ethan Dunn. See you next time.